Sorry. Sorry. I was over on Twitter. Sorry.
Oh, good morning, guys. Welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. A reminder that there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to discuss markets. We had an interesting little intro there. That's why we were laughing when we came on. But welcome, guys. Happy Thursday. I got to admit it. I know it's only Thursday, but it does feel a bit like a Friday. Another one of those weeks where we're just flying by. And maybe that's a product of the volatility that we've been seeing, right? I mean, Bitcoin was trading at the lows at the start of this week. It's back trading near yearly highs towards the end of this week. I guess it's only Thursday still, but like I said, it feels like a Friday, so don't blame me too much. I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max and Jackus. Welcome, guys. We're going to see if we can get Dr. Outlook on potentially later as well. But real quickly, before we get cooking and sharing that big, juicy alpha, we always appreciate when you guys smash that like button before we get started. And I'm sure we'll bug you again, right? I mean, we always do. But like I said, it always means a lot to us when you guys engage and enjoy our content. We hope you guys are able to take some actionable setups, trades, who knows, away from this stream, right? We're live usually for about 1.5 to 2 hours every day. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. Bitcoin, I mean, I guess we had pretty much more of the meat of the move, I would say, over the last 2 days, right? I mean, I think it was yesterday, Bitcoin moved from, I want to say around the 42K back up to 44K. So, on a higher time frame, not a huge move, right? But we did see some huge moves or volatility from altcoins in the wake of this. Something like Solana, which it's just been an absolute chad over the last 2 days. Sol USD, I want to say, has risen from about $71, $72 all the way up to almost $88, $89 in just the span of 2 or 3 days. So that's exactly the volatility that you want to see on Bitcoin or on altcoins, but also exactly the volatility that you want to see from a market leader. And the Sol blow off top is something that, we've kind of been talking about definitely in our Discord as something that was a very real possibility. The daily, the 4 hour, the 12 hour, we were looking at those time frames last weekend. It just didn't look like anything resembling a top that we're used to seeing. So we are, I think, probably seeing that blow off leg on Sol right now. How high it goes, I don't know. Whether it's here, whether it's above 100, who knows? But I mean, the bottom line is that Solana is the strongest coin in the market, arguably even stronger than Bitcoin, given the way that it just repeatedly catches a bid and refuses to break structure down in any capacity. But yeah, I mean, I also mentioned that Bitcoin trading into 44.2 is a big level. I think this is a pretty key spot to look for a reaction on Bitcoin, both for bulls and bears. And if you flip this level, you're probably going to go see 50K with haste, I would have to imagine. And if you can't flip it, I think it's suddenly becomes maybe a little bit slippier or more slippery. Slippier, that's not a word.
I like slippier, actually. I think we should make that a word. Slippier.
It becomes slippier, not as much for Bitcoin, but more for these altcoins, especially the ones that didn't really follow the pump over the last few days. And there are a few majors I think that you could identify more specifically if you really wanted to find that weakness, right? Equities, equities had a very interesting day yesterday, and I'm sure that's something we'll talk about as well. We've mentioned that volatility and the VIX are they're at depressed levels right now, deep value levels for volatility. Yes, it can go lower maybe next year, but right now, I mean, it does seem like the VIX is the VIX has formed a low, and that's reflected in the price action yesterday, right? We had a snapback is what I would call it, right? A big bid on Vol suddenly came in, and a huge dump in the S&P came in, a big dump in stocks and indices. It really felt, I think, pretty much throughout the market. So the question for equities, I see a lot of people trying to call tops on it already, and I see a lot of people who have been in shorts underwater for a few weeks now starting to get excited. So the question I have for equities is, do we continue this blow off top, and possibly with the confluence of volatility also increasing as price goes higher, or was that the top on equities? And I think it's an interesting debate worth having. I'm personally in the camp of the former, that we're probably going to still continue higher, but there are, volatility is bottomed. And if you're basing it strictly off that, it might be a little bit harder for the index to go higher than that. But all conversations and discussions we're going to have on the show today, guys. Welcome. Happy Thursday. I've been giving my spiel for a little bit longer than I usually do. So I'm going to open up the floor and see what you guys are thinking about these markets right now. I think we had a pretty wild day yesterday, all things aside.
Yeah, man. Hey, Tommy. Hey, Jackus. We definitely had a wild day, man. There was some turbulence in the equity markets, and it came in the afternoon too, which was a bit bizarre, right? Like it was kind of a smooth day, and then oh my, hang on, we need to pause before we really get into this. We just got a $20 super chat from our man Ozeal. Man, Ozeal's one of our Giga Chads in our community as well. I didn't even get to say what's up, really. We just got hit with that super chat. Ozeal said, let's get the rifters to hit the like button so Jackus can give us his daily special alpha sauce. Jackus, what's your daily special alpha sauce? That sounds like that could be a lot of things. But Jackus, what do you think about that, man?
Well, there is the deal, guys. So first of all, I promised to Ozeal I'm gonna share a HNT chart and my takes on it. But here's the deal and what Ozeal is talking about. By the way, thank you, Ozeal. We appreciate it. So here's the deal, guys. If we reach 150 likes today, I'm going to share a secret alpha which you ain't going to see anywhere else. Okay? This is the deal. This is the last time I'm here this year, right? Because tomorrow I'll probably not make it. Then there is the Christmas, and I'll probably see you next year. So this is the opportunity for you guys, an opportunity to see an alpha you ain't going to see anywhere else for just freaking like button, for just smashing the like button, right? That's all it takes, guys. It's free. It's free. And all of you guys have at least 2. Most of you have 3 accounts on YouTube that you can switch between, and you can actually use this hack to get more likes button. So that's just one tip, right? Back to you, Max.
Thank you, Jackus. And Ozeal, man, I just want to put that up there again. Thank you so much. It's really great when we get these little super chats from you guys. Helps keep the lights on here. But yeah, we did have an interesting day yesterday with a little afternoon dumperoni pizza in the afternoon for equities. Crypto, it's kind of doing its own thing, and I would still arguably contend that it's going to. I do have the Sol chart pulled up right here. This thing is insane, man. This chart is absolutely incredible. The strength in Solana is, for one, it's incredible. But 2, I don't know when it's going to stop. Like, I keep looking at levels. So, for example, this was a really obvious level on Sol, right? I was thinking, okay, this level right here will probably cause some level of a pause or turbulence. But at this point now, we've kind of accepted back in it. And I'm more curious, are we going to come up to this level? Let's just remove this and establish value up in this region, so like, is this range acceptance? And we're going to go up here, and then this is, you will happily buy the pullback to $90 after it goes to 130. I think it's something you seriously have to consider because there is so much money in the Solana ecosystem right now. And Tommy, you always say this, man. Like, the coins that are pumping, the names that are pumping, the ones that are garnering all of the attention are the ones that are basically, they're just flush with liquidity and money. And it seems obvious, right? But, it's like, why not, right? There's Solana phones selling for $5,000 on eBay. You might say that's ridiculous, but there's airdrops that you're receiving for owning a Solana phone that will probably be, greater in value than 5K potentially. I don't know what it'd be worth now, right? I know they had Bonk and another one, and there's rumors of the Jupiter airdrop now hitting the Solana phones. I don't know if that's true or if that guy there was some guy who tweeted about Solana Saga phone users are now going to get the Jupiter airdrop like at the highest tier. I don't know if that's true. He probably just has a phone listed on eBay for like 10 grand and wants to try to sell it. But Look, I think I don't know where I want to start. I have so many thoughts I want to get out there. So let me start with this. One, I think that it's possible that equities, specifically the legacy indexes, are going to be due for some sort of mini little pullback here. Now, here's the reason why. And just to be clear, I'm still bullish. I still own a lot of stuff. I did take some profits yesterday. The Discord knows about it. Maybe I shouldn't have, whatever. But I am starting to see some potential signs of, momentum maybe dwindling a little bit here on the higher time frames. And this can take a long time to roll over. These bear divs take a long time. And before anybody jumps on me here, I want to get all these thoughts out because I want to be very clear on how I'm feeling about this. We're on the weekly time frame. QQQ just made a new all-time high. We're printing TD9s, which, I've actually started to use a lot this year on the higher time frames. And they can be pretty solid for marking just like levels of overextension or, something being really oversold. It's basically like exhaustion levels, okay? Just think of it as that. So we're showing some potential signs after sweeping the all-time high and printing, a pending weekly bear div, and additionally from the October low, QQQ's up 20% in less than 2 months. I'm seeing some potential signs that, maybe, just maybe, we're due for a healthy market correction on the indexes. But now I want to preface, I want to add on this notion. Yes, maybe we've been cooking. Maybe, things have been climbing like crazy. But with that said, there are individual stocks out there, and there's a lot of examples, some of which I actually want to talk about today, where individual stocks can rally independently, agnostically of what the indexes are doing. My favorite example, and I talked about it this morning in the Discord, my favorite example is, and this is an extreme example, all right? This is an extreme example. I'm actually going to pull it up right here. Let's look at it right now. We're going to look at it right now. So we are going to pull this up. Here's the S&P 500, and we are going to pull up Amazon down below. We're going to take a look at what happened during the dot-com crash because it's such an important example. Just even if things do pull back and we get just like a very healthy market correction, how a lot of individual names can move completely independently of the indexes. So let's go look at the dot-com crash right here. Okay. So here's the S&P 500 up top, and here's Amazon. We're going to go back to 2000. Got to zoom way in here. Okay. So let's mark this out right here. Okay. So Amazon is down below. Where did that just go? Oops. My goodness. Hang on, guys. All right. Amazon is down below. S&P 500 is up above. Now, I want to take note, and by the way, I'm not forecasting some like major dump or anything like that, okay? But during the final capitulatory leg down of the dot-com crash, the S&P 500 dropped 35% in basically a 1-year period. All right. Amazon, during that exact same time, Amazon it was not like it is right now, okay? During this period of time, Amazon was not in the S&P 500, and Amazon was a speculative, high growth startup tech company. All right. It's not the industry titan that it is today. All right. During that same period of time, when the S&P 500, and we'll even extend it out here to, when it really put in a bottom, right? Like we'll just say right here, the S&P 500 went down 30% over a year, and Amazon went up 155% during that same period of time. So the point in me showing you this is not to say we're about to have a capitulation in equities, not even close. The point of me showing you this is if you think that the equity legacy market indexes are maybe due for a correction, or you want to go a little bit more risk off, or respect some of these higher time frame signals that are maybe printing that we are due for a little pullback at some point, it doesn't mean that individual names can't move completely independently of that. And specifically crypto, we saw earlier this year, I don't even want to call it a decoupling, right? Because I mean, it's so overused. But earlier this year, we saw Bitcoin going on a tear while the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ were actually nuking and had that, aggressive pullback. I don't think that my bias for the legacy indexes, which we're kind of getting into now, is that, maybe we're showing some signs of moderate overextension, maybe due for a healthy pullback. I don't think that it affects crypto, and I don't think that it affects all the individual names, because one other thing. Let's talk about this now. This is just a prime example. All right, we're gonna remove this. We're gonna go up here. You can see that. I mean, look at the year that the S&P 500 has had. Right, absolutely incredible. Now we're gonna pull up. Now we're going to pull up something else here. We're going to pull up just like a small cap. All right, let's pull up, let's go down the list and find one. Let's just even pull up Hood because I was trading that earlier. All right.
Up only for Hood lately.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the point of this is, look at the year, look at the recovery that the S&P 500 had versus something like Hood. Hood has been completely forgotten about. And I'm just using Hood as an example because I'm familiar with the chart. But there's a lot of individual names where, Hood could do something like this. Who knows? And the S&P 500 could pull back, churn, do, up, down. Who knows what it's going to do, But either way, I'll leave it at that. I've been going for a while. I want to have more of a conversation, but I just had a lot of thoughts I wanted to share because I'm seeing some contradicting signs like across the board right now. But I just want to be clear. Like, I don't really think that, crypto is going to be affected by what legacy indexes do too much.
Yeah. No, I agree. And we saw kind of yesterday when, even though indices pulled back in a dramatic fashion intraday, crypto was able to catch a bit in the afternoon and even an Asia session, right? Or at least some coins were.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But Jackus, what's going on, man? What are you seeing out there?
I was just trying to get Josh on the show too. Not sure if he comes, but one day he will come though. But
Yeah,
he's just ranting because he got probably shadow banned on Twitter, and he's really pissed about that. So I was
Joshua Jake.
Oh no, JT, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was using the opportunity to tell him if he's fed up with the platform to come to a different one and come here. Okay, because he really wanted to come, but he is sort of, as far as I understand, very limited on time, of course. And well, hopefully I'm sure he comes one day. Not sure if it's today though. If he comes, that would be perfect Christmas gift for you guys that come here regularly every day, right? This is exactly what we talk about when we say that we want to bring more guests to the show and let you hear different opinions, right? Because that's all it is in the end, right? You don't want to be copy trading us. You want to be making your own decisions, own deduction that you make from our opinion. It's really that the opinions we share you find valuable, you learn something new. That's what you should take from us, right? You shouldn't just blindly copy trade us though. And new people means new opinion, and you guys make that happen with your likes, because whenever you like the stream, you actually help the algo to push it, to expand it, and more people come. More people means more guests will want to join. So essentially, it's a win-win for everyone. Just saying, by the way. What am I seeing in the markets, Max? Man, I'm so excited. Everything's shaping up pretty good. If you have the patience for it, you shall be rewarded, though. You shall be rewarded.
So what are you seeing, Jackus? Talk to me.
There's so much. I have no idea where to
Let's
discuss.
start with legacy indexes. I got QQQ
Yeah.
pulled up here, man. Here's the thing. You were spot on with basically us going to an all-time high before anything materialized, and we had, economic data that
And
was coming out.
you remember how people attacked me for that opinion
I do.
on Spaces.
But, your patience has been rewarded. Your ability to stick with your plan amidst all of the noise and static around you. You've now been, I mean, you didn't even need vindication, right? You've been right all year, but you called this move. I don't know if you said it was going to happen this quickly, but either way, it happened. We went to an all-time high, right? So it happened in 2023. You've been spot on about this. I'm telling you, I'm seeing some signs. I've just drawn out some weekly bear divs here. I'm seeing some signs that, while QQQ rallied 20% off of its October low in less than 2 months, some
Amazing.
signs that potentially we're due for a move, maybe like this, and then we can talk about going higher. But
Yeah.
but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it matters? Because we can put in a lot of bear divs before, we actually get a pullback. Like look at something like this. If you had tried to, on this one right here, if you had tried to short, the first bear div right here, you would have missed another, was that maybe like 4 or 5% move, from this point. So
Yeah.
they can take a while to play out. 7%, so they're slow moving, but I am definitely seeing some signs that maybe things are overheated. But I want to get your thoughts, because I know you're probably still bullish, but what do you think?
Yeah, so first of all, I definitely gotta admit I did not expect it to happen this fast. Definitely did not expect new all-time highs by end of the year. Like I did expect them, but by end of the year is pretty insane though. And just the quickness in which the market just wrecked all the bears has been phenomenal this year. If we look back at the beginning of the year when everyone told us like the greatest recession ever is coming and so on, it's just by the end of the year there's new all-time high and the bears are just like there standing. What do I do now? But man, yeah, there are many things. Some of that is part of the alpha too, so I do not want to say too much right now. But I definitely can agree with your take here, where we we had a very strong upside, too many days and weeks just of up only, basically since November on equities, and it would definitely make sense, to pull back and retrace to approximately the level you've shown. Maybe slightly deeper, who knows exactly, with these little variables. But then I would also expect further upside too, at least for now. That could change though. But so far I haven't seen any worrying signs to really think that like this is the all-time top. Like it could be potentially, but even if so, it would take way more time, in my opinion, to rotate. Right? It's not going to be like up and then down only. No, these rotations they take time, and as you mentioned on the left part of the chart, we had and obviously it was slightly different context. I'll get to that, but like the first divergence you have printed out there, right? If you shorted that, the market still made new highs and new highs, and it took like another, I don't know, 5-6 weeks before actually making the first pullback. Not to mention it kept going higher afterwards, right? And this is very important. So I would say that right now the situation is slightly different because we took a all-time high, okay, on the divergence. That's slightly different to me because, and I mean, we could create like one more high similar to BTC top, which is the fractal that I think Tommy mentioned first here, where we made new all-time high. Now we could pull back, then make another new all-time high. Max is going to show you, right? I think you'll have to switch maybe to like daily to or 3D. Yeah. So something like this could potentially happen too, right? But as I said, I'm not seeing the warning signs right now. It's a scenario good to keep in mind though. it's a good scenario to keep in mind and be ready for it. I think the context here is slightly different though, and we'll see how we lead up to that. For now, the thesis remains that we are bullish until we see the rotations to start to take place, and they are not taking the place right now. So be careful to short every little pullback, because as I said before the upside, right? I talked about few main things that need to happen. We need to go to new all-time highs to start and create that sentiment. We need to create that bullish sentiment. We need to put all the hedgers that were preparing for the greatest recession ever on to close their hedges. We need to put all the sideliners back in the market before there is any pullback to happen. And I do not think that time has come yet. I think the upside could be limited though, but as I said, I do expect, like for now, I remain bullish until I see the rotation coming in, right? And I think this goes well with crypto as well, right? You shouldn't try to short or sell everything. Like, yes, as I keep on preaching, right? Take partial profits, sure, at higher time frame SR levels, obviously, but you shouldn't be selling it all just because like RSI got overbought, on some time frame. That's not the way win. You wanna keep the profits run until you really start to see the weakness by the market, until you start to see the higher time frame has the troubles getting higher and so forth. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts just to tease a little, Max.
No, that's good stuff. And this fractal is pretty incredible. I know Tommy was the original architect of this, I believe. But this is wild here. How similar it is. I don't know if it's going to continue to play out or not, but this is incredible, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
It looks so
It is,
similar.
and in my opinion, mechanically similar moves, that we're seeing off the lows that were pretty much, strictly meant for rebalancing a lot of those hedges that Jackus was talking about, only in the Bitcoin market, right? I mean, we had everybody who was prepping for the end of the bull, had a myriad of Bitcoin shorts and hedges built up throughout that downtrend since 65, 66K. And, they were all not only rebalanced, but the move was done in a way that, it showed a lot of weakness throughout, which, you can also say about the NASDAQ on its, parabolic run off the lows, right? We had SVB, we had, 2 months ago, we had a lot of weakness, and both times, those shorts were used as fuel for the next leg higher. My question is, once we get to all-time highs, what does it look like, right? Because when Bitcoin hit all-time highs, you could see after, you didn't have any more forced buyers, the demand kind of ceased. So I'm kind of curious to see exactly how stocks play this, because I think, there's clearly a more defined underlying bid in equities, really just historically speaking, than there is crypto.
For sure. And we talked about seasonality as well. We know that typically we get we'll call it the Santa Claus rally, right? Or December rally. It's typically pretty good. And there's also been a lot of discussion about, can legacy indexes remain propped up through the election, the U.S. election, just to be clear. I know we probably have people listening from other countries as well. We're talking more so about the U.S. Do you guys think that it's a pre-election year? It matters at all for markets, or things will go on a little bit longer than expected because of that, or do you think it's a non-factor? Because there also have been plenty of other years where it's been a pre-election year, or a new president's taken office where things have been pretty bad. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I do think it does make sense, especially if they want the president out. So like, but it's sort of like it could be to be honest, it could be both ways, and I do not put that much weight to it, as many are probably. But like I could see like where market nukes, and they blame it on the president, they get him out, and start a new era or so. But it's just like just some narrative that could be built around it. But apart from that, I I rather like I think it can correlate sometimes with it, but the primary reason is still the central banker's policy and so forth, right? And the economy data and so forth, rather than the election itself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk about central banker policy, Jackus, we are potentially forecasting now cuts as early as end of January here in the US. Do you think that that's going to happen or not? Because I'm marking out, previous cuts right here, and you can see that, once we get cuts, that's typically when things get pretty ugly in the market. And right now, obviously, we're multiple months into the pause. Do you think that sometime next year we're going to get that nasty pullback because we're going to have worsening economic data, and it's just going to be this, relatively predictable cycle of we rally during the Fed pause. That's what's going on right now. And then as soon as they issue cuts, the markets go risk off.
Yeah, so I think that we will not be getting the rate cuts as soon as the market thinks. I think we're gonna get them later. And I'm gonna save the later for the alpha.
Guys, speaking of the alpha, Jack has told you exactly what was required today. Right now, we've got 50 likes on the YouTube video. All right. We got 75 people watching. We need at least a 1-to-1 ratio, guys. We need at least a 1-to-1. All that I request today is that if you are enjoying the content, if you are enjoying the stream, please just take one quick moment, hit that thumbs up button for us, guys. Hit that thumbs up button for us. It does wonders for the channel. It does wonders for our growth. And the reason that we're able to grow so quickly is because of your guys' consistent and diligent support of what we are building here at Because Bitcoin. So if you haven't yet, just a friendly reminder, make sure you're signed into your YouTube account and hit that thumbs up button for us. But if you're not watching on YouTube, you're not off the hook either. You're not off the hook. We got 50 people watching on Twitter. We got 17 likes on the Twitter stream. Guys, there's 50 of you, and it's even easier on Twitter because you're already logged in. There's already 50 of you logged in. On YouTube, you could not be logged in. There's 50 of you logged in. So, guys, if you're enjoying it as well and you're watching on Twitter, hit that heart button. That's all you got to do is just hit that heart button, guys. Maybe hit a retweet also, or maybe leave us a comment down below, something you want us to look at, some feedback on the show, just a little bit of engagement, guys. The reason, again, we're able to grow so quickly is because of you guys. We show up every single day. We work our asses off. You guys show up every single day. You enjoy the content. This is just as much yours as it is. Let's push the content. Let's boost the show. Hit that heart button on Twitter. Hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. And let's get back to the show. All right, guys, what do you want to look at? What do we want to talk about?
Let's jump into crypto, right?
Let's
Jump into crypto. Well, here's the Bitcoin fractal right here. This is crypto.
That's
right.
true.
Bitcoin USD. You want to start with Bitcoin? You want to start with ETH? You want to start with ETH BTC?
Actually, let's hear from the people. What would you guys love to hear about though today? This is your chance to let your opinion be heard. Let us know in the meantime.
All right. Let's see here.
We're gonna get some wild tickers thrown in there, man.
We are.
Yeah, tell me about the cam rocket, please. Is it the new revolutionary tech? Please, please.
All right. Hang on, guys. Hang on.
Oh man, they're coming in now.
Yes, they are. All right, man. So I'm seeing a bunch here. So we could talk about Jackus's dog first. Liam wants to talk about Jackus's dog. Jackus, what kind of dog do you have?
he is sleeping right next to me, and it's actually a bigger version of a Yorkshire.
A beautiful dog.
Yeah, he is a puppy now, but he already has he's currently like 6-7 months old and already has 5 kilograms, so he's going to be a big one.
Wow. All right.
What I like about him though is that he can live inside as well as run outside on the garden, right? So he doesn't stink, and he doesn't put his hair, like I don't know, like fur, right? Is the English word fur? Do I say it right?
Like he
Like
doesn't
the
shed. He doesn't lose his hair.
yeah, basically,
Yeah.
which is freaking good, you know. If you want to have a dog inside, that's you cannot even imagine how great that is. Because
Dude, I've got a cat. He's a rag doll. He's gorgeous. He's absolutely
yeah,
gorgeous. But
He probably sheds
he
like crazy.
sheds so much hair, man.
yeah,
Like it is, I don't know how the hair, like when will he run out of hair? Because it's like every time I brush him, I get everything. And then the next day, the carpet is just coated with his hair.
yeah.
I think he's gonna run out eventually. I don't know how it's possible, but anyway,
It's perpetuum mobile, or how's it pronounced in English? Do you know what it is, right?
perpetual,
But yeah, it's like
like everlasting. It just keeps, yeah, it keeps on
yeah,
going. Yeah,
like everlasting energy. Like it
yeah.
never runs out, man.
All right, let's get back to the charts here, man. Much as we love our animals, I know Tommy probably loves his cat more than anybody or anything on this planet. Tommy loves his cat.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
Tommy
I
told
think
me in confidence that his cat is the only thing he's okay spending a lot of money on. He doesn't treat himself to anything nice. He neglects everybody and everything in his life except for that cat. It's the only thing he loves.
the rankings. Okay,
Yeah.
so there is Tommy's girlfriend, but above it, above her, there is the cat, right? Cat comes first. Oh man,
And you guys,
now I thought of the meme with not Jonah, Brad Pitt, right? Where he's in the movie and he talks like, okay, so there's this, there's that, then there's 50 feet of crap, and then there is us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what movie you're talking about, but I know exactly the scene.
I
Yeah,
know what you're talking about. I can't
it's
remember the movie though.
It's a baseball movie.
Oh, is it Moneyball?
Yeah, I think Moneyball. Yeah.
Moneyball. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
Oh,
talking
man.
about Shark Tales. I think that's what I was thinking.
I think it's from
Disregard
the-
me. I'm thinking of a completely different scene.
All right.
yeah, it's Moneyball. Yeah, it's Moneyball.
All right. I want to talk about ETH BTC to start actually, because I think that will set the stage for the rest of this discussion. So I'm seeing a lot of similarities for Q4 of 2020 and Q4 of 2023. This very similar bleed down where maybe it's it could just be classified as like this little move right here where you're just bleeding so aggressively. The sentiment around it is terrible. Going on to make a new low, kind of capitulating, and there's some similarities here as well. If we pull up, let's pull up Bitcoin USDT. Should have this saved. Yep, here we go. It's a little small. You might have to squint, but you'll get the point here. Oh my. All right, here we go. Trying to fit a lot onto the screen here. You guys can see it. So I see a lot of gosh, I'm hearing that echo. Maybe it's me all along, or it's one of you
Tucker's
guys.
laughing somewhere.
I know. Tuck. He actually just texted me. He said Max is the echoer. Oh man, that echo. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of. Okay,
Maybe
I'm
it's
hearing
me
that.
though. Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's one of you guys. Do me a
It's not.
favor, Jackus, do this. Put yourself on mute, Jackus, while I'm talking, and I'm going to
Is it?
talk real loud and see if I hear the echo. We're
Yeah.
going to go through it and figure out who it is right now. All right, throw yourself on mute. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of similarities between Q4 2020 and Q4 2023. One, from a technical perspective, like it looks similar, right? Like this movement where we were trying to kind of hold the lows around here, and we saw a final sweep before a recovery. For those of you that are regulars here, you guys know my case for ETH BTC, right, and the seasonality of it. So let me find this. So here's a quick little chart for you guys. So the 180-day ROI for ETH BTC is far and away the highest in December, right? If you just mindlessly buy ETH instead of Bitcoin in December, farthest 6 month, best 6 month return, hands down, not even close. All right, not even close. So I'm gonna turn this off now. We're just gonna talk price action. All right. We know that December is historically a really great month for ETH rather than Bitcoin. And we're seeing similar price action here. But beyond that, I'm also seeing the Bitcoin USD pair and the ETH USD pair at what appears to be very similar points in a spring or potential like expansion. So let's start with Q4 2020. All right. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. So if you look at Q4 of 2020, you can see that ETH BTC was bleeding and ETH had just started its breakout. All right. So ETH BTC bleeding, ETH USD just breaks out of this really, really long, going back to 2018. How long was this range actually? Let's take a look at this. It was, before it broke out, 700-day accumulation range. So it just breaks out here. But at that same point in Q4, Bitcoin had already broken out and was, significantly out of this accumulation. All right. So let's fast forward now. Let's look at where we're at right now. Okay. So ETH BTC looking terrible, right? Just swept the low. Everybody calling for the death of ETH once again. They love to do that. Bitcoin now breaking out significantly out of this accumulation range. While ETH, similarly to Q4 of 2020, is basically just sitting right on top of its 550-day accumulation bottoming range. So I'm going to zoom out. It's just a lot to see, but you can see the similarities here, where in Q4 of 2020, ETH just broke out and was moving off of its 700-day, now this is a 500-day reaccumulation range in Q4. While Bitcoin was already significantly off of that low, while the ETH BTC valuation was printing a very similar, like kind of nuking, horrible sentiment type of structure. All right. So I would argue that this time is no different. Everybody likes to think that this time is different. Don't be a guy that's willing to die on the hill of this time is different for anything, because most times it's not different. All right. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, wow, we know that December seasonality is great for ETH. It's also great for ETH against Bitcoin. And we're printing very similar structures, very similar patterns, breakout patterns to what we saw in Q4 of 2020. So what could I see from here potentially? It wouldn't surprise me to see, Bitcoin with a, 55, 60K, something like that. And ETH from there probably does something like this. And we probably see ETH up at, $3,500. And what would that mean for ETH BTC? Well, that would mean, in my opinion, that we clearly break out of whatever this bleed is, and we rally significantly, probably even to new highs. That'll take a little while, but I would say that new highs for ETH BTC in Q4 isn't impossible. Really not. I'll stop cooking.
We got a super chat next.
I loved you cooking, Max.
Are you full, Jackus?
It was a good meal.
Are you satisfied with the meal?
Yes.
What's fly but doesn't go anywhere? I don't know. And what is ZAR? How much is a ZAR worth? I don't know.
Is this an ETH joke?
It's got to be an ETH joke.
Gotta be an ETH joke. But ZAR, is it Zanzibar?
I don't know how much a ZAR is worth. Is that like...
It's a South African rand.
What's the conversion rate of a ZAR to a US dollar or a euro? I have no idea.
I do not either.
We are, however, guys, appreciative of any currency because we understand that you know, the economical situation is different in all countries around the world, right? And the pricings are different too. One ZAR is 100 USD. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump those numbers up, man.
Either way, champs, thank you. Yeah, I know you're a regular in here. We see you in here all the time. Thank you for the 14 ZARs. I have no idea what that's worth, but whatever. You know, thank you for the support.
One ZAR is 1 ETH.
Oh, wow, that'd be something, wouldn't it? It's like less than $1. It was just a joke. All right.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, what do you think? What do you think about this? I was working on this last night. I don't have a great way to like compress it all because I'm trying to show so much, so much data here. But you can see that very similar, very similar to Q4 of 2020, and the fractals are even looking somewhat similar. Like Bitcoin breaking out. If we take a measured move here, right, from where we started in Q4 to where Bitcoin ended, Bitcoin went up 200%, 220% during Q4, roughly, right? I'm kind of just like rounding, and ETH went up slightly less, and then of course ETH BTC bleeds, which makes sense, right? So we're seeing a similar dynamic here where in Q4, Bitcoin is currently up, 65, 70%. And then from the start for ETH, it's up 44%. So we're seeing like similar dynamics at play here. And I would argue this time is not different, like I'm aggressively accumulating Ethereum here. I really am.
Yep. I definitely like the seasonality that you have brought up, Max, and keep on repeating because, on its own, it's good, but it could obviously fail. But the thing that is that we have so many things lining up with it, and it just puts the context and confluence so sky high, man, that, like, and all these freaking hypocrites you see everywhere, like telling you ETH is too expensive. I'm selling all my ETH, man. They'll be back. When ETH pumps, they'll be back telling you, I told you so, Anon, while telling you to sell all of it at the bottom as usual. I'm gonna freaking call up anyone, that's because seriously, everyone is now calling for a freaking ETH BTC drop to the heights. Oh man, it's so fucking tiresome on all of these assets, man. Like over and over again, man. It's freaking tiresome out there. DXY is up, man. Everyone's calling for the dollar milkshake theory, man. BTC is down. Everyone's calling for 12K. It's like over and over. Can you put the weekly RSI max on these BTC, man? Like fucking do the math, you piece of shit, man. like I'm so fucking tired of this.
Yeah, look at this. Look at the weekly div that's trying to print right now. Right here.
It's the same shit we've seen on TLT at the bottom. Everyone was telling us yields to 14%, man. And when you tell people to buy here, they're like, "You're so fucking stupid. Look at the chart. Lower highs and lower lows." Blah, 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 blah. Dude.
Yeah, then it's gonna do this right here. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do this. They'll be back, man. They'll be back. I mean, we're seeing obvious signs of, an attempted bottom being carved out here. It feels obvious to me. It really does. It feels obvious. So I guess time will tell, right? But I am like loading up on ETH here. Loading up on ETH here. I could not be more bullish. We talked about this yesterday, guys. But for one, we have this like legacy normie trend line, the blue line right here. Okay. Interesting. We came back to it. We're holding it as of right now. On top of that, guys, look at all of these highs. So we're forming this parabola. All right. I'm actually going to flip the chart. Okay. If we were seeing this, look at this parabola. I'm going to remove this as well. Look at how vulnerable all of these lows are. We could maybe see something like this, but when this parabola breaks, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to take out all these lows, You're going to take out every single one of those lows. This is not safe. Not sefu.
Doesn't that kind of look like the inverted? Yeah. It looks like the FTX bottom, man.
Oh, Tommy, for Bitcoin you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, like I love how you inverted the chart there on BTC with the parabola, because it's so freaking obvious. It's like even the yields, right? If you're gonna invert the chart on BTC, it's legit how the yields look like. Like not TLT, but yields. Legit yields look like this. Can you put actually the 10-year yield after you do the comparison against BTC?
Are you talking about this, Tommy? Because I actually see some similarities with something like this. More so like this 3 drive to the low right here. See that? Oh, like this move. You see this?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually think the the case to buy, or the case for ETH Bitcoin to go up, I really like the fractal that you had on there, Max, like 10 minutes ago. But I think the immediate case for ETH Bitcoin to go higher is for it probably to mean Bitcoin to go down more than ETH, right? Because the times that we've seen ETH Bitcoin rise this year have typically been through the period of the very short-lived ETH outperformance, but more so when Bitcoin was in the downtrend, because because Bitcoin has been outperforming ETH on upside to such a degree that if Bitcoin were to pull back, you'd probably see a snap higher on ETH Bitcoin.
So you're in the camp that if we do see ETH BTC move up, that means the market's probably looking kind of ugly.
I don't know, honestly. I think it's a really interesting spot here for ETH, sentimentally, right? Like, I feel like I'm pretty apathetic to holding ETH spot, but then I talk to some people who I consider to be a lot smarter than me, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm not apathetic enough. And really more so because like ETH is very much a crowded trade for crypto Twitter, in the sense that, even if you aren't directly long ETH, I'd still reckon that just about everybody has indirect exposure to ETH through the ecosystem. They hold money in cold wallets on Ethereum blockchain. They're holding derivatives of Ethereum. And we've talked before about how the layer ones are currently probably diluting ETH's value proposition, because if ETH's value proposition is going to be as, like the king, the boss chain, and then you have something like Solana that is kind of stealing its thunder, I'm not sure what causes the eventual rotation into ETH, other than, of course, when the Bitcoin spot ETF hype kind of dies down and you can transition more into that, Ethereum is the next ETF on the docket, so we're going to pump the price now type of thing. But I mean, I will say you are seeing some things that make me like shitcoins are moving off of ETH onto Solana. That is, we saw DeGods do that at the bottom, the Pico bottom of Solana. So this could be like a very, very critical inflection point that we look back on in a few months, and it was very obvious. Or it could be very bullish and a sign of more capitulation off ETH to come before the eventual just mind-numbing rally. And the sentimental side aspect that I think is so interesting is if ETH is like this cycle's Bitcoin, what does that really mean, right? Like what sort of returns does ETH produce? What sort of activity does it generate at the highs? I'm very curious, because I'm seeing that take probably more and more, that Solana is this cycle's Ethereum, that Ethereum is Solana is this cycle's version of last cycle's Ethereum. Ethereum is this cycle's version of Bitcoin in the last cycle. It's I don't know. There's a lot of things to consider, but I do think that ETH is a bit of a consensus trade when maybe it shouldn't be, given the returns that other assets have produced, and there might be a little bit of fear, I think, for people to give up on the ETH trade too early, and capitulate into other assets that are outperforming it. But who knows when ETH is going to outperform? I'm just asking myself if the bullish case for ETH is going to be the futures ETF, is that enough, right?
The thing is, Tommy, is that it will be something. Just like with freaking Sol at the accumulation rate bottom. I was saying this is a freaking great buy opportunity down there. No, wait, Max. Wait. Keep the chart here first. Okay, I want to talk about that too. And nobody freaking cared about Solana. Everyone kept screaming Solana, and I feel the same about, like, I do not freaking care about Solana, but the chart looked freaking damn juicy. It looked like people are positioned on the wrong side. They are not seeing the longest accumulation from the capitulation. They became greedy. They wanted a single digit Solana. They wanted a single digit Solana at that accumulation range. And what happened? Suddenly, Sol pumped out of nowhere on no news, nothing. And suddenly, every news is coming out. Now, it's the new revolutionary tech. Everyone's building on it, blah, 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 blah. It came after the pump, not before. And the same thing will happen to ETH. I have no idea what bullshit news they gonna come up with. Right? They will say, like, suddenly the tech is good. We are pushing this project, and this company is adopting ETH and blah blah blah, and partnerships and all that shit. But we know that the price precedes the news. And with this fractal, look at that. Look at that, how it stop out that wick low on the right side. Oh shit.
Sorry, I messed it up.
On the right side, it's took out that low, the internal one, but not the external. It did not make new lows on the right side on BTC, and then it pumped from nowhere. Now look at the left side. Zoom in on ETH BTC on the 3D, on the 3-day, right? And mark the last low from 2022, the internal one.
Talking about this?
Yes. That swept. Now everyone is freaking calling for the new, cycle lows on ETH BTC. And I mean, it could sweep it, okay? I cannot rule it out. That's true. It could sweep it, pump after. Who knows? I think not. I think it's going to front run, just like I was telling you at BTC with 25K. And Max, you remember that one when I talked about that on spot, how it's convenient for them to front run on the spot chart the low, and they did so. And I think it's the same, and everyone is waiting for it. Now look at the freaking RSI once again on ETH BTC, right, on the weekly. Like, what are you telling me? You have the weekly bullish divergence with the like the amount of confluences here is freaking insane. And once again, just like I didn't care about Solana, I do not care about Ether. If anything, in crypto, I care about Bitcoin, right? And all of these others are just wannabes. Maybe they will become something great, maybe they will become nothing. I do not care. I'm talking simply about the market being irrational here. And it is, because you have, once again, you have all of these confluences. You have the most negative sentiment towards it. Every maxi is calling a victory. Everyone, saying is expensive, who is going to be using it, blah blah blah, just like we saw who's going to be using it, blah blah blah, before it pumps. and you have ETHUSD that just broken the range to the upside. Like I could keep on going. There is so much of the stuff, and I do not freaking care if it jerks around for the next. Like I certainly want to see it pump too, because it's going to pump my shit coins to the Valhalla. But like right now, I want to see it right now. But I do not mind if it goes on for the next 2 weeks as the apes capitulate, and then they're gonna be buying high once again. It's legit. Like I do think, fractal wise, it's like I was buying BTC already in June, July 2022, right? When it dumped. And what did happen afterward? It kept going sideways, and then you get the final FTX capitulation, right? But if you were buying already in June 2022, you were essentially buying 20K, and that was freaking cheap. But it still made new lows, just like now. It made slight move lower. It's still freaking amazing price longer term. Everyone is wishing right now to buy at 20K, right? And everyone will be saying the same about ETHBTC. Like none of these prices will matter because it will be goddamn low. And you will not, like, when this starts going, you will not get any chance to get in. If you are thinking you are getting a chance for a clean buyback, like, hey, we're gonna flip this level, get a clean retest, get in. Yeah, sure, man. Good luck with that. Like, that's definitely what the market makers always do, right? They flip the structure clean, and then they give you many easy opportunities to get in. Right, that's what happens. So I think the rotation is pretty damn clean, pretty damn clear, and anyone waiting for like 4,000 satoshis on ETHBTC is the same equivalent as people waiting for a 12K. It's legit the same. It's legit the same. It's just different asset, but it's the same narrative, right? And if you can pull out, by the way, Max, if you can inverse the ETHBTC chart and put the 10-year there now,
Put
maybe
the
go on
10-year
like,
over here.
yeah, exactly, and maybe
Let
go
me.
like to daily on ETHBTC might be better.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. US 10-year.
Right. Zoom out a little bit and pull the parabola up there to the top. And by the way, go from the log chart on the right.
Yeah, we're in log.
Right. So maybe it wasn't like parabola. It was maybe like more like a trend line, but you get it, right? You see that with that low broken around, what is it? Like 4.6 on the
Yeah,
right
here,
side.
let's do this.
Yeah. Aza TV saying 41 to 46 is coming, Jake, sir. And we'll see about it, man. Because I kept being told like DXY is going to 110. USD Japanese yen is bumping to the moon, and BTC is going to 12K, and Euro USD is going lower. And I'm not saying I cannot be wrong on this one. It just, like, when I count up the confluences, and this is what I always keep on saying, I'm just saying the probabilities are not there. Essentially, anything can happen in the world, right? Like FTX was completely unexpected event to the market, provenly so. Like I can prove it. It was unexpected on many things, but those are black swans that happens really very rarely. Like you cannot count on black swan to saving you. And I think the probability wise the rotation comes into ETHBTC. But
Is this what you're looking for, Jack? Is something like this?
basically like
Yeah, I
that.
mean, you have to be able to spot like the signs of a capitulation or a blow off top. There's some
Yeah.
very recognizable signals, and ETH BTC is in full blown capitulation right here. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean we couldn't get like a quick jolt down if the Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved. But I want to go back to this like Solana notion, right? Like Solana is like the ETH killer and it's good tech and all this shit. It's only good tech. It was dog shit tech when it was under $30, and now suddenly it's revolutionary.
2 months ago.
The
2
narrative,
Well, I
months
agree with
ago.
that. I
the
agree with that
narrative will
notion.
only
Let
make
me,
sense for ETH when ETH is going up. Then suddenly DeFi or ETH lending and I don't know, ETH NFTs and ETH it'll be obvious once it's pumping, right? Then suddenly the sentiment will be good. Right now, why would you hold ETH? There's not that much money in ETH. It's all in Solana, right? All the shit coins are pumping. They have their soul phone. Airdrops are crazy. It's going to take one airdrop for somebody. It's going to take one ETH airdrop to change the sentiment. Somebody's going to do some Ethereum airdrop or some ETH shit coin is going to reach $1 billion market cap. And then suddenly everyone's going to be all over ETH again, and everybody's bearish about how expensive ETH is. Well, guess what? Suddenly it's going to turn to bullishness. They're going to go, it's so expensive for ETH. You can't even afford to sell because gas is too expensive. That's bullish. It's just people spin things when it fits the narrative, right?
Oh yeah.
So right now you're getting in a capitulation, in my opinion. This is capitulation.
Do you remember how all the TradFi people talked shit about Bitcoin and suddenly it's the flight to safety?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
You hear
this
all
shit
this?
never changes.
It's all just price, man. It's all price. I mean, look at Sol. Like what? How are we supposed? Of course, look at the price, man. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Of course, everybody's
Quite
excited
insane,
on
yeah.
it, man. It's up 400% in 100 days. And they're giving everybody free money. Why would you not be excited about it?
By the way, I gotta say that I was hedging my positions on Sol, and it made sense, and it still does. And I'll be watching the weekly close, guys, because if we close the weekly above $85, I think the scenario for I still think we will see sub $50, okay, at some point on Sol, because those equal lows, in my opinion, will get swept, and that inefficiency you have marked there should, in my opinion, get tested. And I still want to see that scary down there. But if we see a weekly close about 85, I think we will see further upside first before we see the pullback. That's my current take, and I'm happy with how I played it because, as you know, I was long from the very low accumulation there, and I was hedging my spot position. I was taking partial profits, and I was hedging also at this weekly resistance. But if we close above, I think it's worth closing that hedge and waiting for more signs though. But I want to see, we still have lots of days before the weekly close though. So if we close below 85, it's like the weekly block, right? That's on that was made in sort of like May 22. No, actually it should be March 22. No.
I'm just drawing my own things. Yeah, I can mark out what you want. I'm just saying these always, they always play. These always seem to play, Everyone wants to ignore obvious signs,
Yeah.
but they play,
I mean, I agree with the standpoint. I mean, it's really as simple as right as like incentives bring people to the chains, price moves, narratives follow, right? I mean, I agree with all that. Nobody wants Solana. It's the whole meme. Nobody wants Solana at $15, $20. Everybody wants it. The thing I
Is it just
hesitate with a little bit on ETH is that I think the sentiment can get more skewed than it is kind of what I'm saying. I really don't know that I think the sentiment has completely bottomed on ETH relative to Bitcoin and some of these other outperformers. And even when we had Pepe in the spring, right? I mean, ETH's outperformance was still pretty limited to, I want to say, probably like a 20% pump off the lows. Couldn't break above 2,200. There is, to a certain extent, I mean, I feel like you have the supply and demand aspect of it. That's just the demand aspect is not as prevalent for ETH yet, right? And it is price will appreciate, and then then that demand will arrive. But right now, you just don't have the demand to send ETH higher, or at the very least, you don't have the demand to send ETH up in a way that dramatically outperforms Bitcoin and Solana for a period of time that's longer than just like a short squeeze, right? And I think the Celsius sales are a pretty good example of this. I mean, Celsius sold off about $240 million worth of ETH, I think it was, which for ETH is that's a lot of money. I'm not going to say that's not a lot of money, but for ETH relative to the market cap, it's not as much money. Solana ate $1 billion sold off in Sol by just FTX alone, much smaller market cap. I think I mean, I'm not going to act like ETH hasn't capitulated, because it did. It had the whole 3AC event. But right now, I mean, you can see, based on the fact that Celsius is selling this ETH and ETH is not able to break above these levels still, that we don't have the demand yet, right? I mean, ETH has caught a bid by a proxy of Bitcoin catching a bid, and it has not been able to outperform yet. So I don't want to get all up on a high horse of narratives, because I'm very much in the camp that price moves, and then narratives are assigned in retrospect based on how price appreciates or depreciates. But I definitely do think that the sentiment negatively reflecting on ETH can get more skewed than it is currently.
Yeah, like I do agree. It can always get more crazy than it is. I just think that like ETH really doesn't have anywhere else lower. Like ETH doesn't really have anywhere else lower to go. Really, it's sitting, at that weekly support right now. And that's what you talked about, Tommy, is that it can have temporary short-term strengths, and then it still doesn't do much. But I think, like, I'm looking at the chart on the ETHUSD on the daily H4, and it really looks to me like the rotation is coming in. Now you have the perfect, by the way, this is freaking perfect. You have the narrative of some shitcoin institutions selling, right? You had exactly the very bottom of Sol before this leg higher. And I made it public before we reached that. You had exactly the same sentiment down there in, what was it, like September? What's the low of this hard time frame, like, Mox? What's the low? No. Right.
Right here.
This one. Back then, I can find the tweet before the drop. I made a tweet like, I don't know, $5 before the low, that we're gonna drop a little lower. You have the perfect confluence of some. It was actually on the Sol USD chart, of course, but it was. I don't know. Someone was going to, that there is going to be a huge unlock, and they're going to be freaking dumping all Sol.
The Robinhood, they force sold the Robinhood coins at the literal bottom.
Yeah, and that's the literal bottom. Now you have the same thing for ETH. Okay, ETH says you need to pay attention to the price and market structure. I always keep on reminding that. When you look at the price in history, you don't know the sentiments that were built around there. You can only imagine, unless you actually lived through it. When you look back, you just look at the price and it does make sense, right? That's why I always say you need to keep the eyes on the price. And that's everything, the market structure and so forth. And right now you have the same sentiment, right? That's the perfect counter retail sentiment. You have some shit institutions dumping ETH. Right as it broken out of the 550 plus days long accumulation, it's testing the hard time frame support. The sentiment is the most negative. Man, like, the probabilities are so like, we are sitting on a freaking bullish divergence on the ETH BTC chart. How more obvious can this be? We have seen, TLT, we have seen Bitcoin bottom this way, we have seen yields top out this way. Like that, it's everywhere this cycle though, and yet people are here trading this. I'm like, how more obvious can this be?
From a technical perspective, Tommy, could we agree that if we get above this blue box, it's time to shove ETH?
What
Yeah,
actually pains
absolutely.
me though is that we are like, the reason I'm so mad is that because I see everyone shitting on it, and we know that just few weeks after this, and I think it's really just few weeks now away, it's we are going to see everyone telling you, "But is it so good?" And every one of these people that freaking called shit on ETH right here and told you to sell, they will be like, "Hey, I told you to buy," and all these people will believe them, and it just freaking annoys me because I like everything just repeating itself, and it's so tiresome sometimes.
This is the type of sentiment that you want to see before a bottom, though. I
Yeah,
definitely agree with that. The ETH FUD is reaching some pretty extreme levels, which I find pretty funny, honestly. But um, yeah, no, I mean, when you have shit coins, and like I said earlier on the show, I mean, DeGods moved from Solana to ETH at the literal bottom. Um, that could be a sign of things to come, or maybe it's a sign that we are bottoming here, or yeah, we are reaching an inflection point within the trend. Although it is kind of interesting to me that you had DeGods move over at the bottom, but maybe you start seeing more and more shit coins moving over to Sol, and they probably will miss the eventual rotation to ETH, right? If they keep a majority of their liquidity on Sol, but I think it's a trend that is maybe something we see occur more and more, because with these micro and these low caps, people they aren't going to be as willing to speculate with the gas fees. And yes, that is a fundamental thing. And I promised I wasn't going to get on any on any horse about the fundamentals of the chain, because I remember in the bull run in 2021, right? This was the transaction fees on ETH are always going to be a problem. That's why I loved using AVAX. AVAX price dropped like 90% from the highs. So it's fundamentals alone are not a reason to give a long-term value proposition over ETH, but they can, in my opinion, extend these trends further than people think. Because it's a
yeah,
self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a feedback loop, right? Like, you have people that are holding an asset that's appreciating, and they're using a chain that that is cheap and that they enjoy using. This is exactly what happened with AVAX when all the L1s in Q4 of 2021 really popped off. But the primary driver of it is incentives, right? And that can be boiled down into a number of ways. That can be like farmed yield. It can be shitcoin opportunities. But I think what it really comes down to is, it's like Max said, where's the money at? What is my opportunity to get wealthy on each of these chains, and how reflexive can that be within the trend? And right now, as we're seeing with Solana, it's very reflexive, just as reflexive as it was to the downside, because Solana, I mean, let's be honest, it very much overshot to the downside as a result of the FTX capitulation, all the funds selling their Solana, Robinhood selling customer assets at the bottom. It was very reflexive to the downside, and now we are seeing the corresponding bounce out of that reflexiveness. And I'm curious to see how long this trend continues, because I'll be honest, I didn't think that Solana would get above 50. I didn't think Solana would really break significantly in this manner above like 60 or 70. I think there are a lot of paradigms or expectations that I had before this rally, or even within the context of this rally, that have been defied by how reflexive this trend on Solana has been to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, that Solana truly was the beach ball underwater effect. It truly was. And let me pull up Sol here. I'm going to keep this because I think that this is going to happen here, by the way. But let's pull up Sol USD. I mean, the scary thing to think about, and I originally had it drawn like this, where all of this was, you know, deep value, right? Like deviation, done, man, done. It's possible that what we're doing now is just rebalancing this out. So beach ball underwater, and now all of this is, rebalancing, right? We see that all the time. And that doesn't mean we have to even come back into here ever. It just means that, we spent way too much time down here. And now we're going to spend some time way above, and arguably, maybe overvalued, or, people just playing catch up and, FOMOing in. But, it's just, I'm not eager to like step in front of this or call a top or anything. I have some exposure to the Sol ecosystem kind of by accident, but yeah, I mean, I'm fully expecting this to, if we ever did pull back, I don't know, maybe something like this, probably not much better. I don't know where it goes. Maybe it does something like, I have no idea. But I think if it ever did pull back, that might be as good as it gets, truthfully. But yeah, I mean, the reflexivity of the market is, I mean, it's so obvious, right? Like Sol shouldn't have been down here in the first place. It only went down this deep and stayed down here for so long was because of the FTX shit.
But if you're actually going to pull out the Sol fractal of this cycle, you will probably have to use the Sol USD chart, like the index chart, and then you're gonna put a second chart right next to it, which is ETH from the past cycle. You will realize that Sol actually should have go this low, right? If you're gonna pull, and by the to be honest, guys, like I keep talking lately about how ETH BTC is undervalued and it's going to reverse. But I myself, I'm heavy on Sol, and I expect Sol to outperform, uh, ETH and BTC and Link and all of those. It's just that I think right now it's out of balance both. That's basically what I'm just saying. If no, yeah, like this, keep the scaling like this, and then if you're gonna look at ETH, right, you will find out that it took out the triangle that took place in mid 2017, and then you'll find out that Sol did the same. The left one on the left, the big triangle, yeah, this one. So it took all the lows there. It took all the lows.
This is where I struggle now. This is where I'm like, where are we?
Yeah. Well,
where the hell are we?
That's also what I talk about, and it's that each cycle that they move relatively same, but partially different, and they all needs to be like, we need to understand at what phase and part of the cycle we are, but at the same time levels will be respected, in my opinion. Well, sort of, they are not now with the that a Sol is not rejecting here, but it can go a little bit higher, but then it will possibly reject a little bit lower, but if that makes sense, but then it will go high just like ETH did, in my opinion. So like you still will probably get that sell off that you got on ETH on the right side before the send. I still think
I mean, maybe it's this simple, right? Like this monthly level
maybe
for Sol, right? Like there's so much confluence on this monthly level, and it's right at $100. I don't know. I just
yeah. Can you, Max, quickly pull out the lows of those accumulations?
right here.
No, on ETH in mid 2017 when it created. We can go weekly, yeah. And it took on the left side. No, left side. Go, yeah, this one. So it took that low, right? That was the last reaccumulation, like higher time frame reaccumulation before blow off top. If you're gonna go on weekly on Sol, it has done exactly the same, and that's what I called for in May 2022 that Sol is going to do, and it did. It's legit. Like they both went to exactly same levels of the market, but for Sol it took way longer, and it was a different scenario. Also, the different accumulation took place afterward, right? So it's going to be slightly different. Each cycle, it's not going to repeat 1-to-1, but sort of, it's going to be like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you look at the drop prior to the big sell-off, like the first drop from the blow-off top, ETH retested that structure. Sol has front-run it.
Mm-hmm.
The 2017 one,
Mhm.
right? You see that.
Yep.
So I still think that the big sell-off, exactly. I still think that the big sell-off, the big shakeout will come for Sol at some point, and that will be the big time to load up for all of those that missed, And I think I even think the $50 level makes sense because that's really where normies start to pile in a lot.
Well, you have some equal lows here. Like a lot of these lows right here,
Yeah.
are pretty. Like we never filled back in any of this inefficiency right here. Like we just didn't. Like we left all of this, and we've got some equal lows hanging out right here. This seems like a good spot. Like this region.
Yeah.
Seems like a good area to bid if it came. I don't know if it'll come or not, but
Maybe it doesn't, okay, but still some scary drop should take place, and then you should see like a rotation, just like you see on ETH. The scary drop came, and then you have like at least 5 more weeks of sideways, and it happened at the support. Gotta be honest. Where's the support on this chart though? Where's the support of this pump?
I mean, you could
What
argue
you
that.
usually see with these like shitcoin cycles is
Oh,
While
60 to
Tucker
70%.
appears.
What's up, boys?
look at him in that nice shirt, man. He must have been
Mhm.
making some BB Academy videos or
I
something.
have indeed. I have, yes. Yeah, they're looking good, guys. They're looking real nice.
I mean, you could argue that all of this for Sol is just like mega demand right here. Like if we ever did come back, it's probably just retesting this area.
Yeah.
So maybe it goes up here. I don't know. But if it did come back, it might even just be like, $60, something like that.
Oh, man. It's flying 92.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. Where are the fadors? Where are they?
Tucker, you are up a lot of money, aren't you?
Mhm. I shoved, man. There's nothing like shoving Sol under 30. Come on.
Don't be a round trip or.
Oh, I would never. Where's mega demand? 50s? That's fine with me.
You'd hold from 91 to 50?
Some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a Chad coin, man.
I know. Huh. What else is
Man.
happening? Not much, huh? Still stealing the show again.
Yeah, what's new, right?
Sol ETH, man. Wow. Wow.
Let's pull up Sol ETH. This is my prediction right here.
Oh no.
Yeah, we were discussing all of that.
This is
That's
my prediction.
Hope.
This is Cope.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. That's just a great response. Whenever you disagree with someone, not you, but just like a great response to hit someone with. They tell you something contrary to your position. You just go, "That's Cope." Yeah.
Cope.
That's just Cope. No. It's like those kids in elementary school when you play rock, paper, scissors, and they'd be like, pickle, it beats everything. And you're like, what are you talking about? Cope.
What do you even say?
Cope.
Yeah.
It just destroys every other argument. Just cope. You're wrong, cope.
Can we entertain BNB here? It really looks. It's like. Let me know your takes actually.
Yeah, this looks.
Because
this
last
looks
time I
good.
heard it was going to $40. You know.
Yeah, that was a highly debated price target. That's for sure. Yeah, this looks kind of like concrete at this point.
Capo capitulated some of his BNB shirts too, apparently.
Here's your line.
Is he
This
still
is
in
it.
those?
He actually sold like 75% of those, and I
Smart
think he
man.
still has the rest. Smart.
Here it is, guys. Here's your wedge. You break out here. It's over. You break out, you get above 280.
What?
This wedge is it's pretty pronounced. It's pretty significant. You like my dots? Hello.
Hmm? Oh, the dots.
Hello.
Yes.
Is everybody shitcoining? Hello.
Yes, we are.
I can see it in your eyes when you're doing it, Tucker.
When I'm farming.
Your pupils dilate and you just lock in. No expression other than it's just the eyes. He's shitcoining. Yeah.
It's too fun, man. It really is. Wait, did Soul flip XRP? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Top 5 market cap. That was Sasaka's target.
Who could have foreseen .soul?
The white wolf.
Jackus, you wanted to look at BNB. Here you go. What do you think? He's on mute.
Oh, Jackus.
Did we get to the number of likes we need to get that alpha?
Let's see. We're at 103 on YouTube and on Twitter. We're at 27, it looks like.
Wow.
I mean, that's 130 likes. That's pretty good. 131 now. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Been a good show.
Wow.
I just hit the like button.
Jackus, you're off mute now. You wanted to talk about BNB. Here she is.
I just wanted to see our takes, guys, and what we think going on with.
Here's my take. Yeah, this is it. I'm going to set a notification here at 280. Because if it flips 280, it might just run. Run.
It was the 100, like 100s, like
315, man.
Tucker.
315. What?
Tucker.
What's happening?
Tucker.
Cope.
Time, dude. Here's how you can be the richest man in the world: is sell all of your soul for ETH right now while nobody wants it, because you've already 3x'd your whole spot bag. Sell all of it, buy ETH right here at this very obvious region that we're coming into, and then ride ETH up to like 3,500 by end of Q1.
Yeah, ETH does look kind of primed, man.
Yeah, dog. It looks primed. And look at the Sol ETH BTC valuation on the monitor right here. Equal highs plus retesting the all-time high supply region plus printing a 3-day bear div. Who could have foreseen? Take all of it. This is financial advice for you, Tucker, not for anybody else. Just for Tucker. Take all of your soul and market dump it into ETH right here.
Oof, that might hurt price, man.
I know. He owns a lot of soul. He really does.
The whale.
He is. He's pushing whale status. Look at that shirt he's wearing, man. That's clearly somebody who's thriving off of his soul bag.
It's clearly a manlet right here. Yeah. No, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I probably could use some more ETH.
DOT is pumping too.
Dude, Sol is at $94. Are you kidding me? What in the world?
Yeah, this is what a blow off top looks like, low key.
Yeah.
Seems like, yeah.
Tucker, let me show you a monthly level, man, before you got on here. Monthly level. Look at all those. 99.
Imagine.
$100, bro. Sell the top.
Imagine.
Look at this monthly level. You really think you're going to slice through this?
Sol is straight up in a straight line. The beach ball. Tommy, what's the spot bid look like, brother?
Wait. Can you go back to monthly on Sol?
Sure thing, Will.
Look at look at the monthly candles during that accumulation. How squeezed they were. It's
crazy.
The other just from 2023, basically. You know, fuck those earlier ones. But those were important too, of course. But like these, yeah.
Like how tight these were right
how
here.
How tight these were.
Look at that.
That's insane.
Tight. Between 23 and 18, if we just count the closes, opens and closes.
But where is the liquidity gonna come from? We heard during that phase.
Blow off top.
There's the liquidity, man.
All right, we had a couple of requests to check out Near, Tommy's favorite coin.
Yeah, and I think Kuji, people wanted to, and what was that? Wait.
I mean, do we like Near here, guys?
Eighth was mentioned.
There's just so many that look like this, right? Like they look like they put in high time frame bottoms and they're ripping. I just don't know. You know, I don't know how high they're going to go. Like there's a lot of possibility, you know, to come up into this region maybe. Pretty obvious level, but you know, I don't know. It's hard to say. But I mean, it looks good, right? Like a lot of stuff looks like this. They all look kind of good. Was another
one. It's pretty crazy though if you think about it, how like the market just kept being in a bear market and then insane depression through the whole 2023 basically, and then just pumps out of nowhere from the very bottom. Just brutal market, man. Brutal.
If we're bullish on ETH, I mean Aave is probably gonna rip, truthfully.
Man, Aave needs to flip this weekly resistance. The moment it flips it, it's bye-bye. And Aave is ETH ecosystem too.
Are you talking about this being resistance right here, Jackus? Like this level?
Yeah.
This block?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spent quite a bit of time there.
Yeah.
Champ wants to see gold. It was his super chat.
All right, we got him.
Actually, we didn't see the super chat, to be honest, Champ.
I didn't see gold. I saw.
Yeah, I think you forgot the text there. Although we love gold here, of course, but just saying that we didn't say anything. Just one message: what flies but doesn't go anywhere.
I mean, this is just an insane looking chart, right? I'm looking at this. I'm ignoring all of the low time frame volatility, and I'm gonna just draw this out for you guys. Okay, it's this simple. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this.
Cup and handler.
Yes, the cup and handler. I'm literally just looking at this, guys. It's this simple, in my opinion. It's a high time frame play, but when you break out of this, we're gonna do the normie valuation here. How do we pick a target? It's this, bro. It's right here. This is where gold is going. I don't know when. I would assume maybe sometime late next year. but I like this level.
The decade of commodities. Who could have foreseen?
I like this, but I like Bitcoin more, but I like this. I do own some gold calls. So
It's probably worth playing options here, though. Although they might not be, I don't know how cheap they are right now. Probably not.
I got some, I think they're fairly priced. If we go up here to 2600, it's like a 4x on the calls that I bought.
Yeah.
So I mean that's fine. Like I like that a lot. It's enough
Yeah.
upside for me.
Yeah.
And I bought them. They're out in 2025. Like I have over a year until expiration to let this happen. So
That does
I
make
like it.
sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasonable. I mean, obviously, as always, BTC is always going to outperform gold. Like gold is simply gold is if we do not count oil, then gold is the highest market cap asset in the world. So it does make sense that its percentages moves will just be lower. Like I still find it crazy that people will say like, yeah, but coin poop, hashtag poop is making higher moves than gold or Bitcoin or whatever. Like, yeah, man, if you're going to have an asset that's owned by 5 people, then surely it's always going to have larger percentages moves. I don't even know how that's a discussion these days.
Yeah.
That like lower market cap assets have higher percentages moves. It's always a trade-off between volatility and risk. So yeah, if you don't want volatility, if you do not want risk, then go into bonds. Basically, it's all it is. And some people cannot stomach risk at all. Some people will just go for bonds. For some people, even stocks are risky, right? Then for stock people, Bitcoin will be risky. And for Bitcoin people, altcoins will be risky. So it's always moving on the scale. And, you need to decide where you are.
This is an insane chart. Sol is just so insane, man.
New all-time high next
It's
week.
gonna be a shame when it goes back down to $3. I'm just kidding, guys. Tucker. Tucker. Capitulate your bag at a
$3.
No, dog. You're shitcoining too much. Look at what I'm showing you. Capitulate, Tucker. Do it. I'm the devil on your shoulder. Capitulate. Sell it all. Sell your bag. Do it. Buy ETH.
Absolutely not. It's the future of finance. I have a soul phone. What are we even talking about
He's
here?
in deep. We've lost him.
I'm in deep. Yeah, I'm in deep.
He's in way too deep. Oh man,
money is literally falling from the sky in the Sol ecosystem right now.
Tucker, did you say soul phone or cell phone?
Sol, SOL. Hit me on my soul phone, Jack.
He literally owns a soul phone.
Yeah. And I got it before it was cool.
Wow.
I didn't even know there was a bonk thing on it. I just bought
it. You used to call me on my soul phone.
Exactly, Tommy. That's been in my head for like a week and a half. Yeah.
The casino is champ, man. The casino is not risky enough.
Where's Janet?
I don't know.
Probably pumping trillions into the government right now.
Tucker, are you still holding your soul perps long from 72?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. Well, I've shaved a ton. It's like not a big position now, but yeah.
Jeez, man.
I actually just shaved a little bit above like 93 a minute ago.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, you want to? I don't know. I forgot. I'm not. No, it's too much work. It's too much work. I was gonna share my thing, but I'd have to make a Google Chrome tab. And
what likes are we at?
I don't know.
We're at 108 on YouTube, and Twitter is 30.
Okay, so the guys learned the lesson to like on YouTube, but guys, come on, you can do better than that. Max, you can take it from me.
We don't have time anymore, Jackets. We're at an hour 45 already. We don't have time. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
It is what it is. No Christmas present. No
It is
alpha.
what it is. Santa's not coming. It's too late.
We shared lots of alpha today. Not, gotta be honest. We did not share the intentional alpha, but lots of alpha has been shared regardless. As usual, guys. As usual.
Yes. Exactly. All right. Well, we're actually going to call it here, guys. It's about that time. We've been going for an hour 45. Guys, thank you so much for being here as always. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you haven't yet, please consider liking the content and then also subscribing. This is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We are live Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time every single weekday with this cast that you are looking at right now. Me, Snorlax, Jackus, Tucker, and Will was not able to join us today, but normally Will is here as well. It's basically a 2-hour-long alpha dump. We just hang out, talk markets, talk narratives, try to get Tucker to sell his soul into ETH. It's just normal. That's daily stuff. That's daily stuff. But he's got diamond hands, man. He's got diamond hands. Now, got some news for you guys. You can join our Discord by clicking the first link in the description below. It's becausebitcoin.com/premium. That will take you to our website where you can sign up for our premium offerings. You guys get to see a lot of the technical analysis, things that we're seeing, things that we want to see. You get to hear narratives, discussions. But if you want to take your trading to the next level and actually see behind the curtain of how me, Snorlax, Jackus, Tucker, Will, and Wabi all actually execute and place trades, you will love the Discord. We do 2 hours every single day of private Discord calls with our entire Because Bitcoin team and community. Furthermore, we have private TA channels, and we actually even have active positions channels where we share how we're actually placing bets and trades that we're taking. So you guys get to see not only the analysis that we're doing, but how we're actually moving our money around to capitalize and pull money out of the markets. So if you enjoy this show, if you enjoy hanging out with us, you will absolutely love the Discord. Now, in Q1, we have a new product launching called the BB Terminal. It's essentially a Bloomberg terminal, but for crypto. Everybody that's in our premium Discord is going to get access to it. It is a disruptive piece of technology. We spent a lot of time and money and resources developing this thing, and it's going to be absolutely epic. That's coming out in Q1. The price of our premium services is going up dramatically from $149.99 a month to much more than that. We're not exactly sure yet, but it's going up because we got to pay for this project. So if you want to be grandfathered in to our top tier premium service, which includes the Discord, really everything, right? Discord, and then in Q1, BB Terminal, and you want to lock that in, grandfather that rate in of $149.99 per month forever, then sign up before we drop the BB Terminal because prices are going up a lot. Second, if you want to be a part of beta testing this new piece of technology, this new platform that we are building out, additionally, if you're in the Discord, you will get early access to it. You'll be part of the beta testing crew. And again, you will get to lock in that rate forever. We will honor that as long as you do not cancel. So guys, thanks so much for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to just kick it over to Tommy and he can say final farewell as always.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here, of course. Happy Thursday. We got one more show tomorrow, and that'll be our Christmas send-off to you guys. Hope you all have a fantastic holidays with your friends and family if we don't see you tomorrow. But echoing everything that he said, definitely would get in the Discord now because once the BB terminal launches, it's going to get a little bit crazy in a good way, of course, but we're really excited to roll that out for you guys and see what y'all think about it. But that's all from us, guys. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already, and make sure to tune in for Market Talk with King Wabi at 4:15 to 4:30 Eastern time. Sometimes being a little bit start time sometimes being a little bit after that, depending on how long our call with the Giga Chads run in the afternoon. But it's usually very particular about being on time. So yeah, no, y'all have a great rest of your Thursday. Like I said, have a great rest of your week if we don't see you tomorrow. And thanks again, guys.